Hello everyone, the Anime Down here with another video. We are back with more Manhua, but this time I want to highlight some titles that deserve an animation, or at the very least more attention in the West, because they're really great series. However, before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe and do all that thing to help the channel. The Planet Walks Alone is my first pick. It's not a long series, in fact it's already completed with a total of 78 chapters, excluding an epilogue chapter. It is separated into two parts, with the first part covering the first 49 chapters and the latter the remaining 28. It's not a long read, but it's a really engaging one, so chapters actually fly by. The story itself follows an university student who studies hard in eagerness to leave his mother and father bitter disputes behind him. Because of this, he has become sort of blunted emotionally and came up with tactics in order to avoid the stress of the constant fighting of his parents. However, one day he receives a strange text message in his phone that says he'll kill himself in 100 days. And if he needs help, he just needs to reply to "ni," you in Chinese, to the sender for help. At first he just blocks the number and moves on, until it starts to count down the days. After that he turns off his phone, until a few days later, after taking a shower and looking at the mirror, the same message emerges with the countdown. I won't spoil further, but the story unveils from there, and what I really enjoy about this series is the narrative. The story is told primarily through the main character. We can see his thoughts, his fears and insecurities. This first-person narrative is strengthened by the soft but expressive art that can set the mood, through its use of more greyish colors and masterful use of the main character's body language and facial expression, which enhance the effect of the narrative. Alongside this is the smooth pace of the series. It's not rushed and it does not try to be overly dramatic. Instead, it slowly builds a mystery alongside its characters through subtle touches, and through brick by brick the story is unveiled. The combination of all these make the series rather engaging. As an anime or live action series, it would actually be really interesting to see, and since it is a story that is not too long, it could easily be adapted into a full anime in 24 episodes. It would need to keep fidelity to the art style of the author and have good music. The rest I think is not as hard. If you have not read this manhwa, I recommend it, and it might be worth looking at the author's Heimai's other works too. Now we have a very different kind of series from the first pick. Now we have Ask Yggdrasil's Wood. It's an action-packed sci-fi series. It has been a reasonably popular series for U17 that has been bought up by Bilibili and will in due time be integrated in their platform. Bilibili has made a big drive to become a big manhwa platform, and it knows it faces stiff competition, which it has been trying to edge out with its push for media projects. Ask Yggdrasil's Wood would be an excellent title to push for an animation, since it is ongoing and it is an action-packed series with high quality art. The greater focus on the action does shift the story away from the whole narrative focused story into a more story that is divided into greater parts like arcs. In a sense that makes the story easier to follow, since the narrative builds specific arcs which each can have their build-up, climax and conclusion. Ask Yggdrasil's Wood, though it's not that simple, it does have a more integrated overarching plot, and it never distances itself too much from it. What I think it does well is keep the mystery of the surrounding world and also obviously the plot. At the center of it all is the main character, who is a convict that was exiled to a faraway planet, until one day he is called back after his exile is revoked after 100 years. His return to Yggdrasil comes with many questions. Why was he exiled in the first place? And why was it revoked? The answers to these questions and others are not told but gradually unveiled as the story progresses. Whilst keeping these mysteries and building an interesting sci-fi world, the series still manages to keep the simplicity of shonen manga with its action and likable characters. It's overall a fun series that would be great to see animated. Bilibili, please do it. Next we have The Call of the Animals, which is one of Kuwaikan's exclusive series, and the sheer amount of high quality exclusives are part of the reason it stands head and shoulders above its competitors, Bilibili included. Call of Animals is even shorter than The Planet Walks Alone, since it stands completed with 50 chapters. I do think these smaller condensed works tend to be better, especially in the narrative and plot department, since they are clearly set out on the story they want to be from the very beginning. Whilst Japanese series, perhaps because of the way they are published, can be vague in these aspects and build it as it goes along, so it tends to be less cohesive. The story starts with a shop owner seeing a cat, and on closer inspection of the cat she notices that a cat is holding a decapitated finger in his mouth. This of course scares her and she calls the police. Then we get the first signs of the main cast of the series, which is a group of officers. But most specifically, the main characters are the serious female investigator with the ability to talk to animals and others, and the male outwardly flippant but competent officer. This weird case to begin with starts to lead to much bigger things, and it seems like it involves the cats. In addition, it seems to be related to past events that link both the female main character and the male main character. The setup is intriguing, the touch of supernatural elements with a mystery investigative aspect works well because the characters are reasonably likable and have a hidden depth to them that is unearthed as the series unfolds. This alongside the mood and great art makes it a really enjoyable and engaging read that can be finished in one sitting if one has the time. So those were my picks for manhwa that I wish to see animated in the future, or at least that should be read by people who like manhwa. So what are your favorite manhwa? Leave that down in the comment down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that stuff, it really helps us out, and don't forget to check out our blog. Thank you very much, catch you guys later.